Good evening, people. Once again, I'm live with my Elevate Talks episode number 06. And today I am bringing to you all a very important topic on how to structuring your digital team for the success. Okay. Now, this topic is very much important because many companies, whether small or big, all of them are actually facing this kind of challenge in setting up their team. And the questions could be many because we all know that creating a digital product is actually a major challenge that blends a lot of skill sets it requires creativity, engineering, strategy, customer support, legal regulations, and more. But because of all of these complexities, right, whether it's a small team or it's a mid-sized team or even the large enterprises, those have actually the budget, but they still find it difficult uh, to structure the team. So many such companies, those who are undergoing the digital transformation, right, they struggle to create or structure their team better. So in this episode number 6, right, we are going to talk about how to accomplish this task. Okay, because we all know that we need to answer so many questions, and so many questions. So actually, creating and managing the digital teams requires a very thoughtful process that questions like where do we need to uh, be responsible for managing the digital teams actually lies, right? It's also an interesting question because we all need to answer several questions. And the answer clearly depends on so many things. It depends upon your size, your business location, where you are. It also depends upon the your team's appetite for the bi- digital things that you want to do within your business, what kind of investment that you want to do, right? It also depends upon your nature of business, whether it's a B2C company or it's a B2B company. Things will differ for sure, right? And it also depends on who is your senior member team within your team, right? Who are going to have the authority to do the job, right? There's so many things. And it also depends upon how your other departments are actually talking to each other. So a lot of factors combining, it creates a situation where you have to ensure, right, that how you have to actually solve this kind of puzzle, right? So when we say that, uh, when we have to structure the team in any company, when you are focusing on your digital business, right, when you want to move from either from traditional business to uh, digital business, or you are already a mature company or to some extent have been doing the digital investment, but then you need have to improve upon, right? You have to always think from the point of view what are the areas a company in which your digital roles will fit, right? There will be some team members who will be responsible for taking the business decisions, right? However, there will be some group who will be responsible for actually executing the digital projects, right? And also you need definitely a team who would be working with you, a kind of extended team or a kind of advisory team, right? So unless those three kinds of groupings are not defined, right, it becomes really challenging to understand. So let's understand one by one, and then maybe it will become easier for you to understand how you have to. So let's segregate three kinds of departments, right? There are three departments which I totally believe. One is, you can say, digital business team, or the team which focuses on the business side. Okay, and so they will be mostly taking up strategical decisions. All right. Now there will be also a team who will be executing the technology side. So you can call them a digital technology team, or someone who will be responsible for the digital technology implementation and these the implementation. All right. And then the last team members is, as I mentioned, right, the extended business teams. And these business teams could be either outsourced model, or it could be within your teams, right? It could be within your teams. For example, your customer support team, uh, your business development team, your operations team, right? So many these, and then also the agencies with whom you work, right? So in this, you can also further classify that whether the extended team is going to be the in-house, or your extended team is going to be your outsource model. Like we're going to talk about it. So what happens when we have to take all such decisions, right? It is very much important, first of all, that the push should come from top to bottom, because unless our leadership team is not prepared for the changes, right, it becomes really difficult. And whatever team verticals which I have spoken, right, all of them have to strategically communicate with each other, and they should all be in the same page. All right. So let's say within the digital team, if within the digital business team, right, you must have various departments where the team will work, right? So the very first thing within the digital business team, I think you must have a ownership team or the vision team who defines actually the key business measures and objectives for your digital property. So whatever that you're going to develop, right, he will be the someone who will first create the vision, or so the group of team members. So they could be your directors team, they could be your leadership team, or if you are a small team, right, they could be your founders. Okay. So these are the people who will be responsible for visionary. I'm not saying they will be actually working alone, of course. They have to make the initiative to talk to other departments as well, right? But the first thing to bring the change has to come from these teams. So you can call this as a owner or a business digital vision team, right? Then of course, then you will have then the product management guy, right, who will own a particular vertical for the product success. Normally what happens in any company, many times it is called as a product managers are called as a mini CEOs. So they are someone who will be responsible for the final success of that product, right? So they will be responsible for owning the product on a day-to-day basis, or they will talk to other stakeholders within the project, right? So they will be someone who will be responsible uh, for also managing, talking to the customer, doing the market research for the product and how this product will succeed, create a program, delegating the work to the various verticals teams like marketing team, sales team, tech team, and they will be working like a bridge. And they will also prioritize the activities, right? What needs to go, what needs not to go. But that doesn't mean that they are going to dictate it, right? They have to convince the other stakeholders like marketing team, sales team, product team, development team, and they have to convince them with the data that why this particular feature should go and when it should go, what feature should be prioritized. They have to do a lot of research, right? So many times when you have a product management team, uh, you would have seen the titles like group product manager, and then within the group product managers you will have multiple product managers. But it all depends upon how complex the product is, how many features that you have. Many times group product manager is responsible for one group business, okay, and then within that you might have the multiple product lines, okay, which complement each other, right? So in that case you manage those things, okay. Now another team member could be the program management role, and this actually depends upon the company, and it is little bit distinct from your product management role, which is actually responsible for owning the long term plan to achieve the product roadmap, which includes the budget, resource allocations, and also they are maintaining the responsible for maintaining the release and schedule of the product, right? Then another team member for the business side would definitely be your UX and UI design team, because they will be responsible for your overall look and feel of the product, right? So UX and UI design team, so let's segregate this, because many times people think that UX and UI is the same. UX is all about process, means let's say if you have a mobile product, right? So they will be responsible for uh, creating the workflow, how a user will go from one screen to other screen, which element should be placed where, right? But that doesn't mean that this decision they will take based on the intuition. They normally take such decisions based on the data that they have, the kind of research that they do with the customer, and it is always a kind of ongoing process. So UX is also an ongoing process. UI team is someone they who give the look and feel to your every pages. So let's say UX team decided on workflow, element placements. Okay, UI team is someone they give the beauty to your product. So coloring of your elements, visual aspect, right? If you're a small team working on a small project on the budget, many times you have someone who will be good enough doing UX and UI both. But in general, UX is different role, UI is different role, and many in so startups you would see that UX and UI job mostly done by one person, could be done by the team of the people. But actually, if you want a specialized skills, uh, it's always better to segregate UX guy separate, UI guy separate. But both of them have to actually work together, right? And then of course your content development team who will be responsible for what kind of content will go. So they will create they will create campaigns. It could be non-marketing editorial content, it could for the site, it could also include articles, various things, FAQs for on your website, right? So this way you can think. Now if you are a small team, right, you can always filter out. For example, let's say whatever talk I spoke about a digital business team, all right, uh, having a visionary owner, product manager, program manager, UX and UI, and content development. But let's say if you are a very small team, so in that case, of course, your digital business guy would be your founder. So he has to definitely push the team. And then if you have a little bit of bandwidth, then definitely you will have your UX and UI design guy and the content guy, right? So in this case, your business owner will be responsible for the work of product management as well, right? However, if you have little bigger team and your company is having more lines of product, right? So then in that case, it's better to delegate work for a one particular product line to another product manager. Okay. Then bare minimum from the technology team side, right? Although within the technology team also, I will not say that you're going to have only these roles, but I am only talking about the bare minimum roles because it again depends upon what kind of size of your team. Okay, what is the size of your team and what is the business role that your company is already having, right? So in this case, I would suggest that at least a team which is working in the uh, technology side, right? Bare minimum, if you can get, if you are a very small team and working on a product, at least you must have one full stack guy, full stack developer, or I would say a good product engineer is also a good fit, right? There's a little difference between a product engineer and a full stack guy. Roles are merging, and traditional software engineers are different from what product engineers are called. Traditional product engineer software engineers were normally the engineers who used to work on features. They have been always working in siloed approach, and they don't even care about what the customers actually think, whether the problem, whether the development that they are doing, right, whether the product they are going to ship finally, is it going to solve the actual problem of the people, right? That they never used to care about it, right? But modern engineers who the product engineers, if in case I say product engineers, are the guys who also need to have actually a little bit of business skill. So they will definitely participate in asking questions. I'm not saying they might do, in many cases they do if the team is smaller, right? But they can definitely ask a question from the right team members, like why we are building a product, right? How do you think that this is going to be um, actually the pain point that we are going to solve by building this particular product, right? What is going to be the go to market strategy? These kind of questions they can ask. So, and they are not just going to blindly develop this. It is their job to actually constantly question your existing product managers or the marketing team, those who have done the field research, to find out, right, why the product we are building, right? So either if you can have a good product engineer, that's good. Otherwise, if you are a very small team, at least must have a full stack developer is good, because This guy will can also code your front end, back end. I, he is not going to be responsible in, he is not going to be expert on front end side or the back end side. I'm going to come to it, right? What do you mean by front end and back end? I think most of you already know, right? But what I'm saying is, if you are going to talk about, let's say, front end side, right? So uh, if you are a little bigger team, okay, and the complexities increases, right, of course, then you are definitely going to need one front end guy who will be responsible for coding the visual aspect. Now here many people will ask, what is the difference between then the UX UI guy and the front end developer guy? You need to understand, although skills are merging, many people who are UX and UI developer, they try to acquire even the front end development, but actually UX and UI is mostly the design work. So you are not required to know actually the technology side much. You will rather more focus on, you know, creating the workflow of your product, your aesthetics, how it looks. But actually front end guy will convert this aesthetics to actual product, how it looks, right? They will be the people who will be more skilled in the HTML side, new front end technologies like Node.js, uh, JavaScript, uh, browser technologies. Most of the browser technologies they need to know, right? But they will be very highly skilled on that. So if you are a bigger team and you see that you need a more competitive front end, right? So you need to have a specialized skill for front end, right? Again, then comes the back end developers. So these are the guys who will be responsible for managing your core systems, back end, right? And these back end developers can be multiple people, like how you can have a multiple front end developers depending upon the complexity and depending upon the project, right? And within the front end development also you can have senior front end developer, and then you have junior front end developers working under the senior front end developers. Similarly, you can have a back end developers who will be mostly working at the server side where the actual logic works, right? So they will be working on the middle level development, middle level middle layer development. They will be do actual logic or decisions where the people are working, things like CRM, things like your inventory, things like the actual logic which happens. One such example, let's say for example, someone who is a mobile application developer, right? So mobile application developers actually develop the mobile apps, but actual logic of computing happens at the back end, right? So backend developers actually develop the backend, and your mobile app communicates with your backend or server. Okay. So there are many frameworks available. If I have to talk about software side, let's say there are many people who are working in the backend development side using Ruby on Rails, or using Python, using the Django framework, and Java Enterprise. So there are so many technologies, and bigger enterprises in fact work with the multiple technologies, and that doesn't mean that entire stack is written using one technology. It never happens if as the product goes. But yes, when you are starting, when your product is small, you will start with one kind of technology, and then as you grow, right, you try to optimize, right? And same thing happens even in the front end, right? So if you are a very small team, bare minimum, try to have one product engineer or a full stack developer, okay, who will do at least, who will be responsible for shipping a product end to end and deliver it as quickly as possible, okay. And then as your product goes for a success, right, then you will start optimizing your, you need more specialized skill for front end, back end. So you can choose to have a front end team and a back end team, right? Then one very important skill, I don't know but to what extent, but definitely data skill is a very important skill, because without data you cannot improve. So you definitely need a guy who will develop and maintain the enterprise and digital specific data, okay, data models, okay. They will be responsible for creating the data models, managing data, right, creating the data. So you need a team who will be responsible for all of this, setting up the infrastructure for collecting the data. One such example, at the bare minimum, right, every company has a customer who interacts with their brand from multiple sources, through the social media, through your customer, uh, your chat board on which is present on your mobile phone or your website, with your customers support team, or if you have offline presence also, then customers will visit your website. There could be many touch points, right? Your data team will be actually responsible for creating a strategy that how uh, they are going to create a strategy for collecting the data from all these various sources, and they will be also responsible for managing those data, pulling all the data from the various sources to create a centralized database in the form of CDP or data lake, depends upon the technology, right? And I'm not going to explain right now because you can explore what the CDP is, what the data lake is, right? Uh, but these people will be responsible for definitely uh, creating the data strategy, managing the data resources, right? Infrastructure. So, so that the other team members, developers, and when we have a data team, right, it's not just only the resources, right? They will be also responsible for your insights for the data. For example, within the data team, you will have a data engineers, okay, who and a big data team. Then you will have data scientists who and data analyst teams who will be working on those data. So they will be actually coordinating with the people who are setting up the data, and then they will be only responsible for the data on which they can do the insights, right? So data team will comprise of so many people, right? Your big data engineers, your data scientists, your data analytics team, all right? And then you will have definitely the IT team or the infrastructure team, which is little different from the team, because what I mentioned about the data team is only responsible for data, right? However, you also need entire IT infrastructure, meaning your server maintenance, your other other technology, physical hardware, uh, it's security, it's a disaster management, entire thing, and monitoring its quality, right? And in most companies, you will see, especially the bigger companies, they will also have a quality assurance team who will be responsible for checking the quality. So they will create and maintain actually the quality assurance standards, the product which is going into production, meaning the product which is going live to the end customers, right? They will make sure whether the product is meeting certain standards or not, whether it is covering all those features or not, with the features or not. They will also make the automated plans, manual test scripts, right? And also they will try to execute uh, any integration work, browser related, performance related testing, so many things that your quality team will do. And so a lot of things are actually involved. So technology team, I'm not giving you entire picture, I'm just saying within the technology team you can have a segregation, one for product engineer if you're a very small team. If you're a bigger team, then you will have again a product engineer. Then within that you can have an end develop, meaning a front end developer, uh, development team, back end development team. And within the back end development team, you can have multiple teams depending upon the complexity of the project and how big your organization is, how big the product is, actually, in fact, not organization, how big and complex the product is. Okay. Then data team who will be responsible for managing and collecting the data and providing the seamless insights to your other departments, right? What decision they should take based on this data, right? So they will be all responsible for this. And then of course the infrastructure team, quality assurance team, all right? Then actually when we talked about, right, the your extended business team, so what I meant by extended business team is actually the team who will be working on executing your business sites. Like another was a strategy, this is going to be your marketing team, your product and pricing team, your operations team, right? Your business development team, your customer support team. They're all, for example, if you have a marketing team, right? So within the marketing department you can have various teams structured who will be responsible for various things. For example, within the marketing team you will have, depending upon the role, again I'm saying, I'm again talking about the team, right? If you are a very small team, you can have a one person marketing team guy also, right, who will be responsible for everything. Now you can debate that can one person uh, work on everything. I would say no and yes, it all depends, right? Because uh, when you have such teams, right, you will have uh, of course one person cannot do everything, but he can definitely take a role where in which he can take an informed decision, and he will do something which is very specific for your company, and he can definitely do bare minimum what he can do within his capacity, right? So I would say that if you are a very small team, hiring a growth marketer is good. He will be responsible for the entire journey of your product cycle. So he will focus on doing the experimentation in the marketing and checking that what can work and give you the results in a better way. As you scale up, right, you can definitely create a department for every kind of campaigns that you're going to execute. So let's say if you want to, you can have a separate department for organic growth. You can have a separate department of paid growth. You can have a separate teams for uh, marketing analytics, right? So which could be different from the data team. Data team is already there, but then you also need within the marketing team, right, your analytics team. And for the more specialized work, right, they are going to question these data team to answer, right? So always the teams can work in collaborations. All right. Okay. So so there are so many things that you can do. So from the marketing point of view, I get this logic. So the marketing team, again, to summarize, right, they will be responsible for all the digital operations, right? They will develop offers and campaigns to drive the traffic, retention, engagement, okay, all these things, managing the email lists, executing of the marketing, branding, so many things, right? If, again, then bigger companies can also focus on creating their product and pricing team who will be responsible for actually checking what kind of product digital property will go good, when it is appropriate to have what product, what should be the pricing licensing model of anything which is being sold on your website. All right. Then your operations team, which includes definitely responsible for your supply chain, the product, right, which has to be shipped. So they will be responsible for actually doing the operation. Let's say if you're an e-commerce company and you get an order, right? So when you get an order, right, it needs to be shipped also. So this guy or this team will be responsible for managing all this, right? Whether the item which has come, right, it needs to be delivered, right? It needs to be delivered to the your end customer on time or whatever promise that you made with the same kind of quality. So there are so many things within the operations that you can do, which is about the quality, okay, which is also about managing the internal team. It is also uh, about shipping. Now you will ask me, right, okay, will this guy will be responsible for technology? I will say no. Definitely this guy will coordinate with the technology team. They will create a standard. They will ask, right, okay, these things needs to be done. As I mentioned, right, all the three verticals which I talked about, right, the business team, extended business team, and the technology team, all of them have to be in the same page, and they should be in a situation to seamlessly communicate with each other, right? So no such roles. If you talk from the point of view of doing a true transformation, meaning it means that the teams should be able to communicate with each other in a very seamless way, right? So operations teams will be responsible for ensuring that the things get executed, right? And they will be also responsible for uh, communicating the challenges which they face at the field levels. All right. So one such example I gave, right? You need to have a supply chain team. You need to have logistics in place, right? You need to have. So you have to ensure the whatever logistics, whether it is going on time with the same quality, right? Then again, the business development team, most important team, right? Where and then within the business development team, you can have a structure of sales team. So if you are a big team, right? If you are a small team, maybe you will have one sales guy, or maybe your owner will do the role of sales. So maybe, in fact, when you are a small team, right, your founder should be the best sales guy. There's no other guy who could be better salesperson than your founder, right? If he's lacking that skill, then I doubt that it is good for the company. Okay, but what I'm trying to say here, that as you grow, right, you need to have definitely down the line a dedicated team who will be responsible for business development, and this business development team must work in coordination with their marketing team, especially if it is an enterprise company. So it's always best that sales and marketing teams are aligned, and they create common goals for the success. All right. So because business development team are the team who actually talk to the customers more often. So they know the field level scenario, they know the front level objections which they handle from the customers, all right, and they also know the kind of pain point, right? So they both the teams should work within the business development team, depending upon the complexity. Again, you can create the various kinds of team. Let's say, for example, inside sales team and field team. So inside sales team will be more responsible for prospecting, sitting in the office, uh, researching about who all are the prospective teams. Or many times, right, if the customer query comes, right, they will be the one who will be taking up the call and explaining the product, right, remotely. Whereas the field teams are someone who will actually visit the the customer location personally. They will talk to them to finally materialize the team. So it all depends upon, as I mentioned, it all depends upon your business size, right? But when you start, right, definitely you can have one business guy who is the product, your founder. Then you can have a small team. If you have, then you can have from technology point of view a full stack developer, right? And then definitely you can have a marketing team. Bare minimum, any company who is a startup, right, if it starts, right, if it starts with a team, they can think from three lines, right? Having one tech guy, one founder who could take the role of product manager, marketing, and sales team when they start at the bare minimum. But as they go ahead, right, they need to structure and bring on board a specialized team. And then most important thing is we cannot ignore the role of the customer support team, which we say that, because when someone buys your product, right, whether it's an enterprise, they all want service, okay, and customer support team is the one who are going to be the face value in that case. So whenever customer buys, or even if they have a query about your product, right, they can reach out to you. So if your website is having the chat board, if you have place a chat board, so on the chat board they can, your customer support team can talk to them. Or if they are already their customer, right, then they can help them on board, mm, on how to use the product, or what kind of difficulties that customers can come with so many problems. So until unless you do not set up a right team to address that, right, it will be chaos. Not everyone can do everything. I get that when you are a small team, right, your founder or the other teams, but definitely you need to create that kind of process, some kind of process which can do the job of basic customer support. It could be as simple as creating an FAQ page so that the repeated questions can be answered on your website, okay, and so that if customer is asking question, you can just give the pointer to the addressing those questions in the form of FAQ, by giving them the link of the FAQ page, all right. And if the questions which are very highly customized, then it can be answered, right? So it so your team members and structuring the team members depends upon various things, right? And what I have given you just an overview in what lines you can think around, right? So I'll quickly summarize. Whenever you have to structure the team, I think you can think in the three verticals. One is your digital business team, who will be responsible for owning the vision for your digital investments or the digital initiatives, okay. Then your technology team, who will be responsible for creating the technology aspect, what kind of technology needs to be uh, chosen based on the vision for executing that, right? And then the extended digital team or digital business team, who are actually going to work on your executing the projects like marketing, your customer support and all, right? So within the digital business team, you can have, depending upon the size, your visionary, who could be your CEO or your founder or a director within your company or the board of directors, your product manager, who will be responsible for owning the one product success or service success, right? Your Then your within the technology side, you can have product engineers, or if you are a very small team, and or a full stack developer who will be responsible for shipping up the product very fast, right? And then as you grow up, right, your back end development team, your front end development team, your data team, your infrastructure team, right, then it needs to be in the place. Then your quality team should be in the place, right? Then from the extended business side team, right, you can have your marketing team, your business development team, your quality assurance, not quality assurance, customer support team, right? So you can think in those lines to execute to create a structure for this, right? When you have all of this, right, you will see uh, that you can create a process for all of them. Now, biggest job is not just only to create a process, right? To create a team, you biggest job is to actually how you facilitate the communication across all these team members. So there's a lot of work, like using the tools that you have to make a process so that all these team members actually talk to each other in a very seamless way, right? So digital transformation definitely varies uh, from company to company. Smaller companies, it might mean only bringing on small technologies, right? Wherein small team can fit the role, or one person or two-person can fit the role of everything, right? But it is always a good practice that you definitely evaluate your current maturity level of your digital investments. In the last sessions, right, in the last episode, I had spoken about digital transformation strategy, where I have given that how you can evaluate your current business and gauge that what is your current digital maturity. And I have op- very clearly spoken about what all verticals that you should focus on while evaluating your digital maturity, right? What could be strategy vertical, another could be your customer vertical, meaning what your customer wants, how better you serve your customers, right? Then you have your technology vertical. What is the level of your technology investments currently? What all technology that you use? Does the current technology solves your business objective? All right. Then definitely your culture and your organization. So you can think on those lines. And when you gauge all of this, right, then you can definitely think about or doing improving any particular vertical, right? What kind of infrastructure as a team? I mean, I'm talking about human infrastructure, human capital. You need to do it. And then that's when you start thinking on, okay, what kind of teams I need. If your team is very small, then you will think what best you can do, right? And that's it, you have to take a decision. So it's always good practice to review your current model and see if you have these key roles to fit in. Whatever structure I have given based on what you require for executing those processes. All right. And for doing that, you can always have the some leadership guy who will take the ownership strategy. Okay. So bye for today, and let's meet tomorrow at the same time at 7 o'clock